couple minutes. I'd like to welcome back our good showman.
Thank you.
I'm just like that. I'm just like that. Just sleep in. We need that stuff. Yeah. Yeah. Did you get home? Yes. Yeah. I don't know who turned it on.
Sergeant, what numbers that are here?
Check the phone with Mike.
Others representing force.
It's shutting down.
Yeah. Can I ask you if I could afford you to help me I haven't. I just realized that I was looking at the agenda.
When we should shut it up.
So we have. So I figured it would be like.
Is everybody ready? Clerk? Council? Sarge?
Technical difficulties.
Alrighty, we'll take a minute for the sergeants to take care of the technical difficulties. I guess that is.
No.
And just for the information of the members, as soon as we call to order, we will dispose of item A, B, C, and after public comments, I will ask the floor leader to offer a motion to move down, to amend the order of business so we can move down to the reports of standing committees so we can dispose of the nominees for the Northern Island Municipal Council, as well as our two SHEFA members that are reappointed. So just for the information of the members. And then we'll go ahead and move back up to introduction of local bills.
Just software. We're trying to run that.
Everybody ready? Okay, good morning, members. I'd like to call this first special session, Tuesday, April 20, 2021 at approximately 10:40 today to order. And before we move down to the agenda, I'd like to request that everyone stand and have a moment of silence.
We know you love me.
Thank you, members. And again, good morning to everybody. Good morning to everybody present here in the chamber, and as well as to those watching on our digital platforms. And with that, clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Hatta,
Present.
Representative Hatta,
Present.
Representative Bavalta,
Present.
Selena, Representative Bavalta Sheila,
Present.
Representative Blanco,
I'm present.
Representative Camacho Joel,
Yeah.
Representative Camacho Vicente,
Present.
Senator De Leon Guerrero,
Present.
Representative Demapan,
Yeah.
Representative Flores,
Present.
Representative Guerrero,
Yeah.
Representative Lizama,
Present.
Representative Probst,
Present.
Senator Silva, Representative Sablan Cristina,
Present.
Representative Sablan John Paul, Representative Staffler,
Present.
Representative Villa Gomez,
Go.
Representative Yantamay,
I'm here.
Representative Yumu, Chairman Sablan.
Yeah.
Mr. Chairman, all 21 members are present.
Thank you, clerk. With all 21 members present, we do have a quorum for today's delegation proceedings. And with that, let's move down to item B, reading and approval of journals. And now I recognize the floor leader for the proclamations.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Members, at this time, I offer the motion to suspend Rule 5, Section 8, our dress code. Thank you.
Any seconds?
Second.
All in favor to suspend the dress code motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose, say nay. Motion carries. Good, floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Moving on, I'd like to make the motion to officially adopt SNILD Journal 22-2. So move.
Second, so there's a motion to adopt SNILD Journal number 22-2, second day, first regular session. All in favor of that motion, please say aye.
Aye.
All who oppose, say nay. Okay, motion carries. And now we move down to C, public comments. And now the podium is open for public comments. And please make sure, let's ensure that your comments is in order with the items on today's agenda. So at this time, the podium is open for public comments. And please state your name for the record.
Buenos dias, Mr. Chairman, Pro Leader, Vice Chairman, all SNILD membership, and good morning to all of you. Mr. Chairman, just briefly, I just, on behalf of my fellow colleagues from the SHEPA board, the administration of SHEPA program, and of course, the Honorable Mayor, I wish to convey our sincere appreciation primarily to the hardworking chair of JGO from SNILD, Senator Edith Ilongero, for addressing our public hearing on our renomination with Mr. Tenorio, and of course also with our potential municipal council member who will be confirmed this morning. So again, I wish to convey our sincere and deepest appreciation for all your efforts, your enduring legislative process that made this session possible this morning. So, Dr. Jesus Masi, to all of you, each and every one of you again. Jesus Masi. Oh, I'm sorry, sir. My name is Oscar Magloria Barote. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Rabata. The podium is still open.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the SNILD. My name is Ray Munya. I am the Sheffield Board member. My apologies for not issuing a comment in the JGL committee. I was running a little late. So if I may, I do support the confirmation of Mr. Aquino and also the nomination and confirmation of Mr. Oscar Babalta and Mr. Juan Tenorio. Now, just a brief information on those two particular members. With Mr. Oscar Babalta, I had the privilege of serving with him in 2015 when I was a first Sheffield board member, firstly nominated, confirmed, honored by it. And I won't lie, it was a little intimidating. I'm in the same level, making executive decisions that impact our Sheffield recipients back in 2015. But I've learned a lot of leadership skills from Mr. Babalta. With Mr. Tenorio, I mean, we go way back. We attended the same high school. He's a little older than me. I won't say our age, but we grew up together after high school over at Boise State University. And I can honestly say he doesn't like when I mention this, but I'm forever indebted to Mr. Tenorio and his family, because if it wasn't for them, I really wouldn't be where I'm at right now. That's on a personal standpoint. With my Boise family, I see some members here who are from there as well. Mr. Tenorio has really helped me out from a personal standpoint. Now, for both Mr. Babalta and also Mr. Tenorio, what really, in my opinion, what really makes them a notable and honorable member of the Sheffield Commission is the fact that we debate. All right. Now, not all the time when an issue or a major decision is up on the table where we all agree to a specific action, the fact that what I believe is correct. What they believe is correct, I go against it, but in their minds, in their hearts, it's actually correct. So the fact that we debate hard, maybe almost every single meeting in the official capacity, in the policy committee, in the program and development committee, the fact that we debate, it really brings out the best in our decisions. Ultimately, a decision is made. And I can honestly say that even if we agree or disagree with whatever decision we made, we respect it. And that's what makes the Sheffield Commission really an awesome, the Sheffield board members, the decision we make, it's really awesome, because the fact that we debate, everything's on the table, and whatever decision is made is really respected by all members. And that's what really makes awesome leadership sustainable in the cinema. And also, ultimately, it's our recipients that are impacted by whatever decision that we make. So with that said, I do full-heartedly support the nomination and full confirmation of Mr. Aquino for the municipal council position, and also with Mr. Oscar Babalta and Mr. Shine Tenorio, having them be members of the Sheffield board. So thank you for your time, and I really appreciate it.
This is Mr. Munya for your testimony. And the podium is open.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. My name is David M. Apatang. I'm here of Saipan. I'm just here this morning to say thank you to the chair, committee chair, for expediting the process of the 3 nominees and a committee report, so we can have it before you this morning. I also ask all the members for your support. Please help me and confirm these 3 individuals so we can get working. We need them back so they can start tackling all the issues that we have. Same with the council and Sheffield board. Thank you very much. Jesus Masi, and have a good day.
Thank you, Mayor Apatang, for your testimony today. The podium is still open.
Good morning, Mr. Chairman. and members of this honorable body. My name is Francisco Cabrera. As the interim Semi-Sherpa Board Chair, I would like to thank the indulgence of the JGO committee to look after the issue and going forward with the nominee for Mr. Revolta and Mr. Tenorio back to the Sherpa Board, and also with the municipal council. However, we need the undivided attention and approval for your confirmation with Mr. Revolta and Mr. Tenorio. Sherpa is faced with a challenge, as we all know. We have financial difficulty, and we have a commitment, a contract for our students. So as the Sherpa Board, coming into a full body again, we will tackle the issue, and we will be here before you again on other needs, such as the financial impact that we're facing at this time. So the indulgence and approval is highly asked for and look forward, and I thank Mr. Mayor for the renomination for the two members about that. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Cabrera. The podium is still open for those that want to provide public comments. With none, we will go ahead and move on. And as I informed the members before calling the meeting to order, we will offer a motion to amend today's order of business. And with that, I'd like to recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to offer a motion to suspend Rule 6, Section 1, Order of Business, so that we can move onto the agenda and entertain the reports of standing committees. So move.
There's been a motion to amend the order of business, and it's been seconded. Discussion on that motion? Okay, all in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All who oppose, say nay. Motion carries. And now we are moving down to letter M under reports of standing committees. And I now recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to offer a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report 22-1, the SNILD Standing Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations, reporting on the appointment of Mr. Daniel Aquino to serve as a member of the 16th Saipan and Northern Islands Municipal Council. So moved.
There's been a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 22-1. It's been seconded. Discussion?
Ready?
Recognize Senator Kidwa.
This is Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, since some of us and myself are not members of the Judiciary and Governmental Operation Committee, if I may be given an opportunity to make brief comments on Mr. Aquino's nomination.
Please proceed.
Mr. Chairman, I thank the Mayor of Saipan and the Mayor of Northern Islands for appointing Mr. Aquino to serve on the Municipal Council capacity. Mr. Aquino, as reflected in the committee report, took over the CNI Museum at a time where funding was limited, and with his hard work, you can see now the museum in good shape. And with that effort with the museum, I am very confident that he will be a great asset to the municipal council. And I also thank him for accepting this nominee appointment. Although this is an additional job and responsibilities from his museum duties and responsibilities, and it is not a compensated council. And I would like to encourage the SNILD, since the council is funded very minimally, that the SNILD will make an attempt to provide funding if we expect the council to do what it is asked in the committee report. And also, Mr. Chairman and members, I would like to mention this, that the budget is coming up, and we're going to be working with the budget, and there are funding in the budget that is earmarked for SNILD, which we suspended during the last budget because of the limited funding. Now we have all these federal fundings coming into the CNMI. I recommend, since all the members here in SNILD are members of the House, that we look at the concurrent resolution and unsuspend these funding source, so we can provide the mayor's office in Saipan and Northern Islands and the municipal council to make their goals and objectives achievable during this coming fiscal year, this month year, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kidwell. Still under discussion. Recognize our floor leader under discussion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'd like to thank the Chairwoman, Senator Edith de Leon Guerrero, for hosting the public hearing for Mr. Daniel Aquino. I did attend the public hearing. Mr. Aquino, you answered questions from the members very eloquently and passionately, and I too look forward to you serving in the municipal council. When asked what you thought the mission of the council was, you stated that in your opinion, the municipal council's mission is to actually look at problematic areas within our villages for the youth, the residents, and to find common ground solutions to ease some of the burdens that families are facing, and try to deter or create programs for our youth and to discourage them from committing crimes or getting tempted to commit crimes. So Mr. Aquino, thank you very much for your time. Thank you for accepting the nomination. And thank you, Mr. Mayor of Saipan, Mayor Apatang and Northern Islands, for nominating such an admirable public servant to our community. So you have my support, and I am ready to vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, floor leader. We're still under discussion. With anyone else, I'd like to request that we dispose of this committee report by roll call. So clerk, please call roll.
Representative Pata?
Yes.
Representative Patel?
Yes.
Representative Babalta Sabina?
Yes.
Representative Babalta Sheila?
Yes.
Representative Longford?
Yes.
Representative Kamatsu Joel?
Okay.
Representative Kamatsu Vicente?
Yes.
Senator De Leon Guerrero?
Yes.
Representative Demofon?
Okay.
Representative Flores?
Yes.
Representative Guerrero? Representative Lizama?
Yes.
Representative Probst?
Yes.
Senator Kirwa? Representative Sablan Christina,
Yes.
Representative Sablan John Paul,
Okay.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Villa Gomez,
Yes.
Representative Youngton,
On what?
Representative Yumo,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Clement.
Mr. Chairman, all 21 members voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With all 21 members voting yes, Standing Committee Report number 22-1 is hereby adopted. And Mr. Daniel Iacchino, with the 21 members voting yes to the adoption of the committee report, this delegation hereby congratulates you and confirms your nomination as a member of the 16th Saipan and Northern Island Municipal Council. So with that, we'll move on to the next standing committee report. So please, Mr. Aquino, just remain in the gallery for the photos. But go ahead. I recognize the floor leader for the second standing committee report.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Our next standing committee report is number 22-2, SNILD, Standing Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations, reporting on the reappointment of Mr. Oscar M. Babauta to continue serving as a board member of the Saipan Higher Education Financial Assistance. Mr. Chairman, I move for its adoption.
There's been a motion for the adoption of Standing Committee Report number 22-2. It's been seconded. Discussion on that motion? Ready? And recognize Senator Kiwan.
This is Mr. Chairman. If I may again, I would like to thank Mr. Babauta for continuing to provide services to our SHEFA recipients who are studying beyond high school. As we always say that if you complete college, you have a better time getting a good paying job. Mr. Chairman, I would like to attest that when Mr. Babauta and I were in the House of Representatives way back, I never saw at any time his hesitation when it comes to providing funding to SHEFA. And as a matter of fact, that was the initial funding when we increased the funding to SHEFA from $1.5 million to $3 million, which is being continuously honored by the delegation. And not only Mr. Babauta, I would be remiss also if I do not mention the other delegation members at that time, and when they supported the increase of the funding to SHEFA. And also, it's a good mix, Mr. Chairman and members, with Mr. Babauta being there, as it was alluded earlier on the testimony that he's there as an experienced elected official and administrator, and he's sharing his knowledge and thoughts about SHEFA, and that's a very good thing to hear, that although the generation gap might be there, but I think the understanding of working together is still there, regardless. So also, I thank Mayor Appetang for reappointing Mr. Babauta, and I will rely on the mayor because he's the one who oversees the SHIFA scholarship, that Mr. Volta did a good job during his last term. And the mayor was satisfied, and that's why he is renominated to this box here, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Senator Kidwell. Still under discussion? Recognize Congresswoman Babauta.
Thank you, Chairman. I've had the privilege of working with former Congressman Oscar Babauta during the term of the late Larry Guerrero and the late Benjamin T. Maglonia. So I've had experience with him with his work ethics and just the type of person he is, and I fully support and endorse his nomination and confirmation. Obi, as he is better known in the community, has lived his life above reproach, and I wholeheartedly support his nomination and confirmation to the SHIFA board. Thank you.
Thank you, Representative Babauta. Still under discussion? Recognize our floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I'd like to recognize Senator Edith Dilian Guerrero, Chairwoman of the JGO Committee, for conducting a public hearing for Mr. Oscar Babauta on his renomination. Mr. Babauta has served on the SHIFA board since April 2015. So thank you very much for your long service to our students and to education. I was not able to attend the public hearing, but the journal clerk, Ms. Lynn Duenas, did an amazing job transcribing the public hearing. And Mr. Babauta stated that the board has addressed not so popular regulations by allowing our armed service indigenous population who have availed themselves prior to joining the armed services, various branches of government, avail themselves with the SHIFA program, as well as the CNMI scholarship. They came to an agreement to remove this obstacle because they felt the service to our country includes the Commonwealth, and that these participants, these applicants, have sacrificed a lot of great strides, both individually and their families, in order for them to pursue a career in the military service. So, Mr. Babauta, thank you so much for always encouraging dialogue and debate, and to also address not so popular regulations with our students. Looking to improve the SHIFA program for our current students and our future students as well. You have my support, and I'm ready to vote. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Floor Leader Babauta. Still under discussion? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Pata,
Yes.
Representative Pata,
Yes.
Representative Babauta Salido,
I'm good.
Representative Babauta Sheila,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Camacho Joel,
Okay.
Representative Camacho Vicente,
Yes.
Senator Dilian Guerrero,
Yes.
Representative Demopon, Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Guerrero, Representative Lizama,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Senator Kirwa,
Yes.
Representative Sablan Cristina,
Yes.
Representative Sablan Janpo,
I'm good.
Representative Stapler,
Yes.
Representative Villagomez,
Okay.
Representative Yankamai,
Awe.
Representative Yumu,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman.
Okay.
Mr. Chairman, all 21 members voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. And before another round of applause with 21 members, just to make it official, voting yes to adopt Standing Committee Report number 22-2. Mr. Babauta, the Saipan and Northern Ireland Legislative Delegation hereby confirms your nomination to continue to serve the SHIFA board. Now you can clap. All right, recognize the floor leader for the last report of Senate.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to make a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report 22-3, the SNILD Standing Committee on Judiciary and Governmental Operations, reporting on the reappointment of Mr. Juan K. Tenorio to continue serving as a board member of the Saipan Higher Education Financial Assistance. So move.
Second.
There's been a motion to adopt Standing Committee Report number 22-3. It's been seconded. Discussion. Recognize Senator Kidwell.
This is Mr. Chairman. Mr. Chairman, I would be remiss if I do not make some comments on the reappointment of Mr. Tenorio. For a young person in today's world, sometimes having additional responsibilities on top of your full job, particularly when the additional responsibilities is a non-paying job. However, Mr. Tenorio continues to provide his time and contribution to an interest to SHEFA board to ensure that our students in Saipan continue to receive the needed assistance so that they can build themselves to a higher education. And my last comment, Mr. Chairman, is that if the SHEFA board, I am not so sure how the federal funds can trickle down to SHEFA, but if the board and the mayor of Saipan can discuss with the administration how the RPA funding is qualified to provide additional funding to SHEFA. I think that will be very welcome to our students who are struggling and sacrificing, especially financially, in trying to get educated at the highest level possible. So with that, thank you, Mr. Tenorio, for again accepting the renomination of the mayor to continue serving our students on the SHEFA board level. And I'm pretty sure the mayor approves your performance during the last term, and that's why he makes this effort to reappoint you. And maybe next time we can ask the mayor that when he nominates to give us an evaluation, a rating of the nominees, so we can see. With that, Mr. Chairman, this is Moxie.
Thank you, Senator Kidwell. Still under discussion. Recognize Representative Babata.
I just want to say thank you, Mayor Appleton, for nominating Mr. Juan Shine Tenorio. I am in full support of his nomination and confirmation. You know, Shine comes from the private sector, and he certainly didn't have to accept this nomination, but he has stepped up to the plate to help our students and our military children going abroad, and all our children here from Saipan, actually. So I want to thank him again for rising up to the challenge and accepting the nomination. I'm ready to vote in support of his confirmation. Thank you, Mayor, and thank you, Shine.
Thank you, Representative Babata. Still under discussion. Recognize our floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. And again, I'd like to thank and recognize Senator Edith De Leon Guerrero, Chairwoman of JGO, for hosting a public hearing for Mr. Shine Juan Tenorio. Mr. Tenorio, thank you for your time during the public hearing. You received many positive oral testimonies in addition to the written testimonies we received. You have served as a SHEFA board member since 2009. Thank you so much for all of your years of service. During the public hearing, we did ask you questions on your role as the chairman for the Committee on Appeals in the SHEFA program, and you shared with us your duties and responsibilities in that role, and some of the issues and concerns that were brought to your attention from students. In your response, you did state that in your role, you try to investigate what's the reason and what's the cause behind these concerns and these issues brought to you and your committee from the students. So I would really like to thank you for conducting research and looking into these concerns of our students. You also expressed your passion for the trades in our Commonwealth and how you support growing the capacity of our workforce in the Commonwealth. And I highly encourage you to reach out to our Chairwoman of Education, Ms. Leila Staffler, who is also very passionate about the trades in our Commonwealth and works very closely with NMTI. And so with that, Mr. Chairman, I support this nomination and I'm ready to vote.
Thank you, Coordinator Volta. Still under discussion? Ready? Clerk, please call the roll.
Representative Fanta,
Yes.
Representative Facto,
Yes.
Representative Babalta Selena,
No.
Representative Babalta Sheila,
Yes.
Representative Blanco,
Yes.
Representative Komatsu Joel,
Okay.
Representative Komatsu Vicente,
Yes.
Senator De Leon Guerrero,
Yes.
Representative Mapan,
Okay.
Representative Flores,
Yes.
Representative Ferrero,
Good.
Representative Lizama,
Yes.
Representative Probst,
Yes.
Senator Kirugua, Representative Sablan Cristina,
Yes.
Representative Sablan Janpo,
Okay.
Representative Staffler,
Yes.
Representative Lagoni,
Yes.
Representative Yankaman, Representative Yumu,
Yes.
Mr. Chairman,
Humet.
Mr. Chairman, all 21 members voted yes.
Thank you, Clerk. With 21 members voting yes to adopt Standing Committee Report number 22-3, Mr. Juan Shine K. Tenorio, this delegation hereby confirms your nomination to continue to serve the Chef of Work. Photo op with masks. So we are back from recess, and we will now return to the agenda, and we are on item D, introduction of local bills. And I recognize the Vice Chairman of the delegation, Representative Ivan Loco.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I'm pleased to reintroduce House Local Bill number 22-3, which was already introduced in the full House, to appropriate up to $618,138 of the earned bond interest income collected for the 3rd Senatorial District that has been identified by the CDA as available for appropriations and for other purposes. I welcome other members to co-sponsor. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Vice Chairman, and for the referral, I recognize the floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I hereby refer this House Local Bill 22-3 to the Committee on Ways and Means.
Okay, thank you, floor leader. And now we move on to item E, introduction of local resolutions. There is none. And before we move down to item F, I'd like to recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to offer a motion to suspend Rule 6, Section 3. That is the interruptions of order of business, so that we can accept communications that did not make it in time. The communications we will be accepting is from communications from the governor, reappointing Mr. Francisco Ogun to serve on the zoning board, and another communication from the governor reappointing Ms. Tatiana Babauta to serve another term on the zoning board, as well as miscellaneous communication from Saipan Cares for Animals regarding a funding request. So moved.
There's been a motion to suspend rules to accept communications. Any second? Discussion? Okay, all in favor for the motion, please say aye. Aye. All who oppose, say nay. Motion carries. And now we are down to messages from the governor. Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, we have two. Governor's communication number 22-2 and Governor's communication number 22-3.
Thank you, clerk. And before we move on, I'd just like to ask our good chairwoman of the JGO to schedule these hearings as they are time sensitive. So we'll move on to letter G, messages from the mayors of Saipan and the Northern Islands. Clerk?
Mr. Chairman, we have 5. Mayor's communication number 22-2 through Mayor's communication number 22-6.
Any discussion on the communications from the mayor of Saipan and the Northern Islands? Ready? Moving down to letter H, reports and communications from the heads of department and agencies. The clerk.
We have 1 department and agency communication number 22-1, equipment needs for the Department of Public Works.
Thank you, clerk. Any discussions under H? Recognize Senator DeLongaro.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Let me just quickly try to get that copy here. Yeah, I'm just curious. In a way, actually, it's good that there is a request for equipment, and it come to mind that I'm not sure about everybody else, but I'm sure the citizens of the Commonwealth is very much concerned. You know, having flat tires almost on a daily basis on the road. And in my experience, living in the U.S. mainland, there's normally a heavy equipment that will go around the streets and sweep the streets and take away nails that may have fallen off trucks and things like that. So I would really like to encourage the Department of Public Works to start looking into investing in this kind of equipment so that we could also help our local citizens to reduce the cost of repairing tires. You're talking about every time you go out there, you repair a flat tire, about $10 per item. And just imagine on a weekly basis, how much money can a family be expending when we as a state government should be much more responsible in making sure that the responsible departments within the local government are looking at all of these other issues within the community so that we can help our citizens put more money in their pockets rather than forking out 10. I really would like to encourage a much more responsibility within the government system so that when we are investing in equipment, that we're just not investing to do whatever we're doing, but to also look at all other issues that the community is facing so that we can have our citizens, drive around the island and not too much worry about whether they're going to get a flat tire at 5:45 or 5:59 when we know that auto shops close at 6 p.m. Those are the concerns that I have. So I would really like for the DPW to look into this too. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Senator. And that's so noted. We are on record. We do have also our standing committee on roads and transportation. So, and any other member, we can go ahead and communicate those concerns to the Department of Public Works. But so noted. Thank you, Senator Navarro. Anybody else? I'll recognize our floor leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. So just for the general public's viewing and understanding, this communication from the Department of Public Works is for a funding request totaling $650,000. And I just want to state for the record that this delegation, this local delegation that addresses Saipan matters and issues and concerns affecting the island of Saipan and the Northern Islands, is where we have that discussion and debate, is in the SNILD local delegation. The Department of Public Works is a department that serves all of our Commonwealth. It is part of the executive branch. And so, although I appreciate the request for funding at this level, I would also like to encourage our chairman to maybe speak with our speaker and Senate president on other means of funding the Department of Public Works after we address the local funding requests that we get from Saipan-based organizations and agencies, because we are the delegation that addresses the Saipan, the island of Saipan and Northern Islands issues, concerns, requests for funding. There's also the American Rescue Act funding that is available for infrastructure and improvements. And so maybe we can also encourage Chairman Joel Camacho of Roads and Transportation to reach out to DPW and see if they have made a request to the executive branch to fund this request. Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, floor leader. Anybody else? Okay, let's go ahead and move down to letter I, House Communications. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have one House Communication number 22-1.
Thank you, Clerk, and I will be taking care of that under the introduction of local bills, so there is no actions required under I. J, Clerk.
We have none, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you. Moving on to K, delegation matters. Clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have 21. The delegation matters number 22-7, 2022-27.
Thank you, Clerk. Any comments under delegation matters? Recognize for leader.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, members. Most of these delegation matters are in regards to the composition of the standing committees that we have in the SNILD local delegation. I'd also just like to state for the record my appreciation, my gratitude for you, Mr. Chairman, for agreeing to create the Standing Committee on Zoning. And I'd like to also thank Representative Tina Saban for her awesome recommendation and suggestion to create this Standing Committee on Zoning. The zoning law only exists here on the island of Saipan, and so I think it was crucial that we create a standing committee to address the zoning concerns and issues for the island of Saipan. I'd also like to recognize the chairwoman of the zoning committee, Ms. Representative Leila Stafford, for hosting the first committee meeting and inviting the zoning board and administrator Geraldine de la Cruz. They did a great job presenting to the members about the zoning board and answering some questions we had, and also offering suggestions on updating the zoning law. So thank you, Chairwoman, and thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Thank you, Floor Leader Revolta. Any other comments? Delegation matters. Ready? Okay, move down to letter L, miscellaneous communications, clerk.
Mr. Chairman, we have 8 miscellaneous communication, number 21-1 through 22-1 through 22-8.
Thank you, clerk. Any comments on miscellaneous communications? Okay, ready? And we have already disposed of letter M, reports of standing committees. There are none on reports of special and conference committees, none under unfinished business, and we have no resolutions and no bills on our calendar today. We are now on miscellaneous business. Recognize Representative Tina Smith.
Yes, thank you, Mr. Chairman. I really just had a question. Sorry, I should have raised this earlier, but I wanted to clarify. Will these various communications from departments and agencies and nonprofit organizations all be referred to the Ways and Means Committee?
Yes.
Yes. Okay.
Yes.
Thank you.
Okay, we're still under miscellaneous business. Anybody under miscellaneous business? Ready? Any announcements? No announcements? With that, we are now under letter T, and I recognize the floor leader for the proper motion.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. At this time, I'd like to offer the motion to adjourn today's session. So
There's been a motion to adjourn today's delegation session. Second, any discussions? All in favor to adjourn today's session, please say aye. Aye. All opposed, say nay. This delegation session is hereby adjourned.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you, members.
Wes.
Yeah, I do want to.